This month, we're going to be talking about perinatal mental health. So, perinatal means the time around pregnancy, birth, becoming a new mum. So, it's all of pregnancy, birth, and right up to your baby's first year or couple of years of life. So, all the mental health challenges that people face in that time. And this month, we are going to be focusing on mums. So, in the future, we will be looking at paternal mental health, but this month, we're focusing on maternal mental health. So about 10 to 15% of women will develop a mental health condition in that perinatal period. So it's actually extremely common for women to struggle in this time. And even if you don't develop a diagnosable mental health condition, it's a really difficult time and you are likely to face some real emotional difficulties. So this month, we're just going to be looking at what some of those difficulties are, how they might be diagnosed, some of the causes, ways to prevent them, and where you can find some support. So studies are now starting to show us that a mother's mental health state during pregnancy has a direct impact on the development of her fetus. So studies are starting to show a link between maternal antenatal, so that's before your baby is born, antenatal depression and anxiety, and then your baby being born early, so being born before kind of 36 or 37 weeks, them having a low birth weight, and also things like increased heart rate to stressors within the womb. So if we play a loud noise, so something stressful for the fetus in the womb, a baby whose mother is struggling with antenatal depression or anxiety will generally show a bigger difference in their heart rate. They will show a much bigger increase in their heart rate than a baby whose mother is not struggling with something like that. So we can see that babies respond, they react to things differently if their mum is very, very stressed. And the way that this happens is through the placenta. So the placenta is the thing that feeds our babies. It gives them oxygen, it gives them blood, it gives them nutrients, but it also gives them hormones from the mum. And what studies are starting to show is that in mums who are anxious or depressed, this is impacting the way that the placenta works. So it's working differently. And the result of this is that baby is receiving higher levels of cortisol into their amniotic fluid. Cortisol is our stress hormone. So essentially what we're saying here is that babies are getting a higher level of the stress hormone into their amniotic fluid, which is what they're then feeding on. And we need our bodies to be calm in order to give birth effectively. So labor is helped along by our love hormone, which is oxytocin. So we really need our oxytocin to be flowing in order for labor to start, in order for it to progress, in order for it to go well. So if you're tense, if you're stressed, if you're anxious, you're actually much more likely to probably get the birth that you are dreading and worrying about. So it's really important for us to stay calm, for us to feel safe, for us to feel love in order to effectively give birth to our babies. And postnatally, it can be really difficult for a baby whose mum is struggling with her mental health. It's really difficult when you're feeling depressed or anxious or you're struggling with a trauma to feel available and connected and bonded to your baby. And that can impact on babies and their attachment styles and their behaviours. So again, what we're saying here is just get on top of things as quickly as you possibly can. If something is short term, generally a baby or a child can deal with that. It's when things become long term or they become chronic that we start to see these long term difficulties starting to emerge. So as long as you are noticing the symptoms, you're noticing that you're needing help and you're seeking that help, it's possible definitely to overcome these things. But it's really important just to get on top of it as quickly as you can. So like I say, this month we'll be looking a little bit more at what it's like to be pregnant, to give birth, to be a new mum, what's really difficult about it, some of the more diagnosable mental health conditions, what's causing them, how you can prevent them, and where you can get some help.